Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Battle Through the Heavens based on novel. So let's start. The sea of fire surged over the star realm in all directions in front of a countless number of shocked eyes. Finally, the fire gathered in the sky above the battlegrounds. Flames churned and slowly separated into a fire path. A black-robed figure stepped through the fire wave using the fire path. That figure slowly appeared in front of everyone's eyes. Xiao Yan, Junior Pavilion Chief. Junior Pavilion Chief has exited his retreat. Many exclamations that contained various emotions sounded within the star realm as everyone looked at this familiar figure. Those from the Falling Star Pavilion were filled with a wild joy, while those from the Profound River Alliance were shocked. How is this possible? This brat was only at the peak of the Do Zun class 2 years ago. How is it possible for him to break through to a Do Xing? Moreover, he is a genuine Do Xing. Ji Yu looked at the young figure walking through the wave of fire in disbelief. He roared across the sky in a somewhat crazy voice. This scene had an overly terrifying impact on him. He is that Xiao Yang. Didn't those damn bastards say that he is not a threat? What happened? The face of old demon Tianming by the side involuntarily twitched as he yelled. It's the Bodhisattva heart. This brat obtained the Bodhisattva heart. Ji Yu's eyes wildly flickered. He seemed to have recalled something a moment later. His teeth were clenched as he said, no wonder this brat seemed to have completely vanished during these 2 years. He was in a retreat to break through to the Do Xing class. All fights within the star realm halted at this moment. Many excited and terrified eyes locked onto the human figure walking out of the sea of flames. The terrifying pressure that was emitted caused even an elite Do Zun's soul to tremble. This pressure was many times stronger than the pressure generated by a high-level Ban Xing like Ji Yu. The sea of flames spread. Xiao Yang's body stood in the air in front of countless pairs of shocked eyes. He studied the star realm, which was covered with signs of battles. Murderous intent wildly surged within his black eyes. Xiao Yang's body flashed. The next time he appeared, he was barely above the enormous square. He landed in a deep pit and appeared beside Yao Lao, who was covered in blood. Both of his eyes strangely became extremely calm as he looked at Yao Lao's miserable appearance. Only those familiar with Xiao Yang were aware that this was his most frightening state of mind. Cough, cough, ha ha, little fellow, you have finally left your retreat. If you had been a little later, you would have had to bury these old bones of mine. Yao Lao's eyes erupted with great joy after seeing Xiao Yang appear beside him. He spat out a mouthful of fresh blood and loudly laughed. Teacher, sorry, leave everything to me. Xiao Yang was quiet. He softly uttered these words before lifting up the seriously injured Yao Lao. After which, Xiao Yang rushed out of the large pit and placed him on a stone platform. He swept his eyes over and a couple of Falling Star Pavilion elders hurried over to take care of Yao Lao. Kaylin and the others are also injured. Yao Lao rubbed the trace of blood from the corner of his mouth as he informed Xiao Yang. Xiao Yang nodded. His hand grabbed toward empty space and 3 figures flew over under his control. They landed on the stone platform beside Xiao Yang. Xiao Yang looked at the blood that hung on the corner of Kaylin's, the little fairy doctor's, and Qing Lin's mouths. After which he focused on Kaylin. Her cold, bewitching face was pale. Dense blood dyed her clothes until it became sticky. Xiao Yang pulled out a large black robe from his storage ring and used it to cover Cai Lin's body. He did not utter a single word as he took out a bottle of medicinal pills and handed it to the little fairy doctor, who was still conscious. She received the bottle and softly said, this was done by the 3rd Tianzuan. That person is an initial level Ban Xing. Xiao Yang glanced at the little fairy doctor and smiled. However, this smile was ferocious and sinister. Be careful. Kaylin spoke with an extremely weak voice when Xiao Yang turned around. She was unable to see through Xiao Yang's strength, but she knew the other party had 3 Ban Xings. At this moment, Yao Lao had been seriously injured and was unable to join the battle. Xiao Yan's strength might have soared, but it would be quite difficult for him to come out victorious. Rest well. There is no need to worry about anything else. Xiao Yan smiled and comforted her. After which, his eyes shifted to the surrounding Falling Star Pavilion elders. There were quite a number of unfamiliar faces among them. These people had likely joined the Falling Star Pavilion while he was still in his retreat. Faced with Xiao Yan's gaze, these extremely arrogant elders hurriedly lowered their eyes out of respect. The frightening aura that vaguely seeped out of Xiao Yan's body had caused even their legs to become feeble. Take care of them. There is no need for all of you to fight. Understood, Junior Pavilion Chief. The many Falling Star Pavilion experts respectfully replied after hearing this command. After issuing some instructions, Xiao Yan finally lifted his head. His eyes looked to the sky. Ji Yu, old demon Tian Ming, and the third Tianzuan from the Hall of Souls had gathered together at that spot. Their eyes were cautiously studying him. The faces of the three of them were a little stiff, as they watched Xiao Yan look over with a calm expression in his eyes. They had not expected the situation to change like this. With their senses, they were naturally able to sense Xiao Yan's current strength. 1-star Do Xing. He was not a Ban Xing. He was a genuine Do Xing. There was only a one-word difference between a Ban Xing and a Do Xing, but there was a relatively frightening gap between the two. Although an elite Ban Xing could also be called a Do Xing since they possessed a strength that far surpassed that of an elite peak Do Zun, they could only be strictly described as a fake Xing. Only when one truly reached the 1-star level could one be called a genuine Do Xing. The Ban Xing class was separated into the initial, intermediate, and high levels. These levels appeared small, but it was difficult if one wished to leap across them. For example, it had been decades since Ji Yu had advanced to the Ban Xing class, yet he had only become a high-level Ban Xing. Old demon Tian Ming had remained at the high-level Ban Xing for an even longer period of time, but he still failed to reach a 1-star Do Xing. Thus, it was possible to tell just how great of a gap there was between a 1-star Do Xing and a high-level Ban Xing. Even though the three of them looked calm, they involuntarily felt a great storm appear within their hearts after processing that Xiao Yan had left the Do Zun class, leaped over the Ban Xing levels, and reached a 1-star Do Xing within a short 2 years. The scenery of the Star Realm is nice. This is not a bad place to be buried. Xiao Yan looked at those three. His body moved as he appeared a short distance away from them as he spoke in a faint voice. Xiao Yan, you should not act arrogantly. So what if you are a 1-star Do Xing? Do you not believe that I will call people from within the clan to come out and finish you off? Ji Yu's expression was dark and cold as he cried out. Despite his strong front, Ji Yu's heart had also begun to tremble. An elite Do Xing was considered the top within the Hun clan. One was usually unable to even see those old fellows. Other than the clan head's personal summons, they would ignore anyone else. They were not people that Ji Yu could simply summon as he pleased. Xiao Yang thought about his words before nodding. He waved his sleeve and a frightening ripple spread out. In the blink of an eye, the space within the star realm became distorted and it appeared as though no spatial ripple could be emitted. These people would fail to escape even if they were to use a spatial scroll. Ji Yu's expression turned even blacker, after seeing that his words had ended up causing Xiao Yang to lock space itself. He involuntarily felt the impulse to slap himself. What are you looking at? Do you think that he will easily let us off today? Although he is a 1-star Do Xing, his foundation has yet to stabilize. He will not be able to do anything to us if we cooperate. Ji Yu forcefully suppressed the impulse within his heart. He saw the furious eyes of old demon Tian Ming by the side and involuntarily cursed. Old demon Tian Ming was filled with a fury after being chided by Ji Yu. If Ji Yu had not reassured him that nothing would go wrong, he would not have decided to attack the Falling Star Pavilion. In the end, the nothing would go wrong had evolved into this situation. If he wasn't a Samba person, he would have involuntarily started furiously cursing. Although old demon Tian Ming was filled with fury, he also understood his current situation. The three of them might still have a chance to survive if they worked together. They would truly end up dying if they separated. Let's fight him together. Old demon Tian Ming spoke in a gloomy manner. He did not say anything more as his feet stepped through empty air and a monstrous Do Chi surged. A 10,000-foot large illusory figure formed behind him. At the same time, Ji Yu and the third Tianzuan began to circulate their Do Chi. In an instant, a wild wind rose in the sky as dark clouds churned. It appeared as though a big storm was imminent. Xiao Yan watched these three individuals join hands. His black eyes appeared completely calm, not a ripple within them, but there was a chill that could freeze one's soul slowly surging deep within his eyes. Profound sky blood palm. 10,000 soul heaven lock. The Jiu-Yu's aura wildly surged along with the other two. In the end, they furiously roared with bright red faces. Three winds that contains extremely fright-sharp energy wind instantly shattered this empty space. They began like three furious dragons that roared wildly at Xiao Yang. Xiao Yang's black eyes watched the frightening attacks that those three had used all their strength to unleash. He slowly lifted his hand. There was a strange expression within his eyes. This is something that I came to comprehend while breaking through to the Doshin class. Today, I will offer the three of you as sacrifices to it. 4 types of flames suddenly erupted from Xiao Yang's hand after his indifferent voice sounded. They began to rotate in a crazy manner. Within the blink of an eye, they had turned into a 4-colored 1,000 feet large strange ring. The ring continued to rotate. The interior of the ring was black. This kind of black was even purer than the spatial black holes. It was a kind of reincarnation feeling. The ring was formed in Xiao Yang's palm. Subsequently, it was pushed downwards and gently collided with the full force attacks by Ji Yu's group. This attack is called Angry Buddha Reincarnation. The enormous circular plate of black that was surrounded by fire emitted a reincarnation feeling as it collided with the frightening energy from Ji Yu's 3-man team in front of countless pairs of eyes. Kai. Both parties collided. The frightening collision made it seem as though meteorites had collided, but the surprising thing was that an earth-shaking explosion did not occur. The 3 energy attacks, that were a couple 1,000 feet across, suddenly split apart in front of many shocked eyes. Looking from a distance, it appeared as though I've had met a searing flame and swiftly melted. That slowly rotating black plate seemed to show signs of separating air itself. Ka. The enormous energy attack swiftly scattered. Within a short instant, it had turned into nothing. On the other hand, that enormous black plate surrounded by fire continued to float and slowly rotate in the sky. What is this Do skill? Shock and disbelief surged into Ji Yu's group's eyes as they watched their attacks disintegrate before they could even touch the plate. The 3 of them combined might not be able to defeat Xiao Yang's 1-star Doshing strength, but they should be able to do something. That strange black fire ring was really too terrifying. Using heavenly flames to create a new Do skill. This little fellow constantly surprises people. Shock flashed over Yao Lao's face as he studied the slowly rotating fire ring with its black center from the ground. He could sense a frightening feeling from the darkness at the middle of the fire plate. If a person were to fall into it, that person's very soul would be annihilated. From a certain point of view, this was true destruction. This person is too strong, let's go. Ji Yu's face twitched as he stared at Xiao Yang in the distance. Xiao Yang was staring back with cold eyes while his hands were clasped behind him. After this single exchange, Ji Yu's group understood that they were no match for Xiao Yang. Ji Yu swiftly turned around after he spoke. His body turned into a ray of light that hurried toward the exit of the star realm. Old demon Tianming and the third Tianzuan of the Hall of Souls hurriedly followed behind him. Those experts from the Profound River Alliance were traumatized after seeing the 3 of them turn around and flee. They hurriedly did the same as they tried to flee from the star realm like homeless strays. Rotate. Xiao Yang's eyes were indifferent when he saw this large group of figures attempt to flee. His voice was slowly emitted from his mouth. The enormous black plate in the sky suddenly shot out a black pillar of light after Xiao Yang uttered a command. This pillar quietly merged with space and caught up to Jiuyu's group. Some unlucky fellows from the Profound River Alliance were pulled into the pillar. They were shocked to discover that their bodies had begun to swiftly disintegrate within this light pillar. They hurriedly unleashed their Do Chi, but the shock in their eyes became even richer when their Do Chi appeared. They had discovered that even the Do Chi within their bodies had begun to slowly disintegrate into nothing after meeting the black light. Miserable screeches echoed across the star realm. Bastard, just what is this thing? Jiuyu and the other two were encased in their monstrous Do Chi. Their eyes were shocked and furious as they looked at the surrounding black light. The Do Chi within their bodies was vast and powerful, allowing them to barely resist the light. However, at the rate their Do Chi was disintegrating, they would sooner or later disintegrate into nothing like the others. Quick, escape this light pillar. Old demon Tian Ming let out a low roar. There was a horror within his voice. It was the first time that he had sensed death after so many years. Moreover, this was the first time he had felt this after having broken through the Ban Xing class. There was no need for old demon Tian Ming's reminder. Upon sensing their Do Chi rapidly disintegrate in that black light pillar, Jiuyu and the third Tianzuan immediately revealed drastic changes in their expressions. They unleashed their speed to their limits and hurried out of the light pillar. Can you escape? Xiao Yan shook his head after seeing the three of them try to escape. His hand suddenly clenched in the direction of Jiuyu's group, and space itself instantly solidified. The solidified space appeared like tough prison walls as they locked everyone within the black light pillar. Xiao Yang had frequently experienced stronger experts use this method to deal with him in the past. Now that his strength had soared to a 1-star Do Xing, he was finally able to experience the great joy of forming a prison by simply raising a hand. Bang bang bang. Jiuyu's group crazily attacked the solidified space, but their respective strengths were far inferior to Xiao Yang's might. It was easier said than done when it came to breaking the space that Xiao Yang had solidified. Moreover, the black light pillar continued to disintegrate the Do Chi within their bodies, causing their attacks to weaken. Everyone within the Star Realm watched the experts from the Profound River Alliance be restrained by Xiao Yang within the black light pillar. Regardless of how these people struggled, they could only await death. The hearts of those observers involuntarily chilled when they saw Xiao Yang's ruthless methods. They felt glad that they were on Xiao Yang's side. Sharp miserable screams continued to be emitted from the light pillar. Within a short 3 minutes, everyone in the light pillar other than Jiuyu and the other two Ban Xings had disintegrated into nothing. Even their souls had been destroyed by that black light. Xiao Yang, let me off, and the Profound Sky sect will be a subordinate faction of the Falling Star Pavilion in the future. Old demon Tian Ming was terrified. His crazy attacks remained futile as the Do Chi in his body weakened. He faced the sky and roared loudly at Xiao Yang. There is no need. The Profound Sky sect will cease to exist. Xiao Yang's expression remained indifferent as old demon Tian Ming attempted to surrender. He slowly shook his head and softly added, I said the Star Realm is not a bad place to be buried. Little bastard. The old me will not hold back today. Old demon Tian Ming's eyes immediately turned blood red, after seeing that even surrendering was useless. Many blood pillars suddenly spluttered from his pores as his body swiftly swelled at this moment. This lunatic. Jiuyu by the side had a change in expression upon seeing these blood pillars. He hurriedly pulled back with the third Tianzuan. Bang! Old demon Tian Ming's body swiftly swelled in front of many stunned eyes. An instant later, it emitted a bang and violently exploded like a barrel of explosives. A frightening energy storm quickly swept apart and shattered the solidified space around him. Xiao Yang looked at the spreading energy storm in a cold and indifferent manner. The seal formed by his hands changed and the black plate surrounded by a ring of fire emitted a terrifying suction force. It devoured the entire energy storm. An extremely dim light suddenly shot out the moment the energy storm disappeared, but it did not flee through the exit of the Star Realm. Instead, it secretly hurried toward a disciple of the Falling Star Pavilion. This trick is useless against me. Space suddenly stilled when this light, was about to enter the body of a falling star pavilion disciple. A cold voice was transmitted down at the same time. A fist-sized black light pillar separated from the black plate and landed on that dim light. A hopeless and miserable screech was emitted from the light. That miserable screech disappeared as a cold sweat covered the falling star pavilion disciple's head. The moment that dim light disintegrated, everyone understood that a high-level banshee had died. 2 rays of light, with lightning-like speed suddenly rushed out of the black light pillar while the dim light disappeared. Those lights were Jiu and the third Tianzuan. They had borrowed old demon Tian Ming's strength to charge out. Stay behind. A coldness flashed across Xiao Yan's eyes when he saw them flee. His body moved and he appeared in front of them. 2 fists were gently thrown out. However, the weak movements caused Jiu's and the third Tianzuan's faces to be filled with shock, because they had discovered that their bodies could not move. A savage expression flashed through Jiu's eyes, as he watched the hand rapidly magnify in his eyes. He suddenly grabbed the third Tianzuan beside him and pushed him forward. His body used the force of the push to pull back. Bang! Xiao Yang's fist gently landed on the third Tianzuan's body. The third Tianzuan's body turned bright red upon contact. An extremely frightening heat spread over his body, causing him to wildly roar, but this roar had just sounded when flames sputtered out of all his holes. The third Tianzuan's body swiftly turned into ashes because of this high temperature. Jiu felt a chill surge from his feet to his head after seeing how terrifying Xiao Yang's punch was. Xiao Yang's calm face appeared even more horrifying than a demon at this moment. It is dangerous to allow a tiger to grow. If I had known that this day would have come, I would have requested to head here and eliminate this brat. Jiu felt a terrible regret in his heart. A couple of years ago, he had the opportunity to head over and capture Xiao Yang, but he had felt that Xiao Yang was too weak at that time, so he informed someone else to handle it. How could he have known that this change of hands would end up causing him to throw his life away? You should accompany him. Xiao Yang's eyes were calm as he observed Jiu. His body flashed, and he appeared in front of Jiu. After which, he reached out. Jiu felt his entire body turn ice-cold as Xiao Yang extended his long pale hand. Sizzle. Xiao Yang's hand was extremely quick, but it was just about to land on Jiu when the space beside Jiu violently distorted. A shriveled and elderly demon godlike arm was extended from the distorted space with lightning-like speed. A Do Xing from the Hall of Souls. Is he finally going to reveal himself? Xiao Yang's eyes suddenly shrank when that black arm extended. A dark black arm was extended from the spatial crack. This arm was extremely shriveled and looked as though a layer of black skin had been wrapped around some bones. That dry skin vaguely revealed some strange lines that emitted a black aura. The appearance of this arm seemed to have caused the sky to become much dimmer. An unusual suction force spread from the arm's hand that seemed like it could suck one's soul into it. Xiao Yang's expression had become grave the moment this black arm appeared. A thought flashed through his heart, and the black plate surrounded by a ring of fire, floating a short distance away, suddenly emitted a swoosh sound as it rushed over. It shrank to the size of a palm that adhered to his fist before he violently swung it forward. Bang! The black plate surrounded by a ring of fire heavily collided with the dark black hand. A dense black light immediately shot out and wrapped around that arm. Sizzle sizzle. The owner of the shriveled arm was quite cautious as this black light ray shot out. The black lines on the skin of the arm hurriedly wiggled. They appeared like a waking poisonous snake before they rushed out to deal with the black light ray. After which, the two of them ruthlessly collided and quietly annihilated each other. Clang! After the two attacks annihilated each other, the black arm was suddenly extended and forced that black plate back. It then grabbed Jiu. The spatial crack quickly expanded and a suction force surged from it. It was quickly sucking Jiu in. You wish to leave? Xiao Yang's eyes were slightly cold after seeing Jiu be pulled away. Although he did not understand why this Hall of Souls Do Xing refused to show himself, he did not wish to allow this person to successfully rescue Jiu. So Xiao Yan took a couple of steps forward and pressed his finger on Ji Yu's body with lightning-like speed. Ji Yu's skin ended up being blasted apart. The powerful dou qi covering the surface of his body did not manage to hinder this sharp hot wind. Ji Yu let out a miserable screech, after Xiao Yan created a couple of bloody holes in his body. His face was ashen. "Stay here." Xiao Yan coldly laughed as Ji Yu let out a miserable cry. He swung his finger toward Ji Yu's forehead like a thunderbolt. If he struck Ji Yu, that frightening force would pop Ji Yu like a watermelon that had smashed against the ground. HMPH, you of the younger generation are really going overboard. A elderly cry finally reverberated from the dark black spatial crack, as Xiao Yan attempted this killing blows. The black arm tightened its grip on Ji Yu's shoulder and swiftly pulled him into the crack. At the same time, that mysterious dou Xing extended a black finger that collided violently with Xiao Yan's finger. Bang bang bang. A frightening storm rippled from the point of contact as the two fingers collided. The empty space within 1,000 feet was shaken until it crumbled. Bam bam. Xiao Yan ended up being forced back a couple of steps after the two fingers clashed. His eyes were ice cold as he looked at the dense black hand. A moment later, that black hand became purple-red, likely as a result of the heavenly flame. "Little fellow, you should not feel pleased. My Han clan has made a mistake by allowing you to become this strong, but do not think that my Han clan is afraid of you just because you have reached the dou Xing class. If you wish to rescue your father Xiao Zhon, then you should head to the Han realm. The old me awaits you." Black air lingered around the black hand as it quickly withdrew into the spatial crack. At the same time, a dark elderly voice was transmitted into the star realm. "Rest assured. I will head to the Han realm sooner or later." Xiao Yang looked at the dark black spatial crack and coldly laughed. He did not recklessly charge into the crack. No one doubted just how powerful the Han clan was. He might have reached the dou Xing class, but it did not mean that he could act fearless. Back then, his ancestor Xiao Xian had been a peak dou Xing, but he still ended up defeated by a group from the Hall of Souls. Even less needed to be said about Xiao Yang, who was only at the 1-star dou Xing. Of course, he might be afraid in his heart, but he would not act weaker than the other party. He did not lose this verbal engagement. How arrogant. If something wasn't restricting me, this elderly self would have appeared and killed you today to avoid any future trouble. The person in the spatial crack was clearly furious because of Xiao Yang's cold laughter. He ceased speaking as a black air surged from the spatial crack line. After which, the crack line rapidly shrank in front of many people's eyes. It eventually disappeared. "Xiao Yang, regardless of how you struggle, you will eventually end up a prisoner of my Han clan. That was the fate of your ancestor. You will not be able to escape." A vague voice passed through the closing space, and was slowly transmitted into Xiao Yang's ears just as the spatial crack disappeared. Xiao Yang's expression was cold and indifferent as he stared at the spot where the spatial crack had vanished. His eyes flickered. The Han clan's experts were indeed strange and unpredictable. The space of the star realm had been locked by him earlier. Unexpectedly, it had still been penetrated by that Han clan dou Xing, who ended up rescuing Ji Yu. That person earlier was likely in existence at the peak of the 1-star dou Xing class. I wonder if he is the so-called first Tianzuan, Xiao Yang pondered the thought. At this moment, he was only at the initial level of a 1-star dou Xing. He was still much weaker when compared to that person earlier, but with the help of his heavenly flame's strength, Xiao Yang would not be afraid of him even if they were to fight. Now that I have broken through to the dou Xing class, the Han clan will not ignore me like they did in the past. If they really want to perform some tricks, they will dispatch a true expert. Xiao Yang's eyes flashed. His heart also became a little more cautious. He guessed that a truly intense battle would erupt the next time he would meet the people from the Han clan. Who? Xiao Yang softly exhaled in his heart. He turned around and looked at the falling star pavilion disciples and elders. At this moment, all of them had been shaken by the frightening battle from earlier to the point of being completely silent. All elders will return to your duties. Clean up this mess. Those with injuries should swiftly recuperate. All disciples should continue your activities as usual. Xiao Yan looked over the entire star realm from high above. His faint voice appeared in everyone's ears. Understood. Everyone hurriedly and respectfully cried out after hearing these orders. After this battle, Xiao Yang's reputation within the Falling Star Pavilion had undoubtedly reached a peak. A true Doshing's strength was enough to make everyone present willingly submit. Xiao Yang moved after seeing the separating human traffic. He once again appeared on the square. At this moment, the expressions of Yao Lao, Cai Lin, and the others were much better, likely because of the medicinal pills. Teacher, Cai Lin, are you all right? Xiao Yang quickly stepped forward and asked. Ha ha, I'm fine, Yao Lao waved his hand. His eyes were pleased as they swept over Xiao Yang. A smile that could not be hidden was present on his face. The current you has finally surpassed your teacher, Yao Lao softly sighed in an emotional manner. When he had first met Xiao Yang was merely the trash of a humiliated clan. Over these years, that youth from back then had relied on a shocking perseverance to slowly arrive at this point. Only the youth himself was aware of the pressure and bitterness that he had experienced along the way. Time flies and that tender eagle had finally soared to the sky. At this moment, Xiao Yang had finally stepped onto the peak of this Dochi continent. A giant and an alchemist guru. The achievements of this youth, who had been described as trash back then, would cause the most perfect genius to pale. The person who had intervened earlier should be a Hall of Souls Doshing, right? Yao Lao lifted his head and asked. That's right, he is very strong, but he seemed to be worried about something and did not dare to appear. Xiao Yang nodded and replied in a somewhat uncertain voice. Yao Lao full of doubt. If that Hun clan Doshing attacked earlier, Xiao Yang would have ended up in a bitter fight, but the surprising thing was that the Doshing only stubbornly rescued Ji Yu. He had refused to reveal himself regardless of how Xiao Yang provoked him. It is likely that that person is restrained by something. Yao Lao could only say this after giving it some thought. Xiao Yang slightly nodded, but he did not remain entangled by this topic. He softly said, let's return to the hall first. After that, please tell me about what has occurred during these 2 years. Yao Lao nodded. He stood up with Xiao Yang supporting his arm. After which, the group swiftly hurried to the main hall of the Falling Star Pavilion. Yao Lao, Xiao Yang, and the rest sat around the large main hall. After which, Xiao Yang quietly listened to the little fairy doctor, and the rest describe what had happened during these 2 years. Profound River Alliance, her. A chill flashed across Xiao Yang's face after he heard that the Profound River Alliance had been formed by the Profound Sky Sect and some other factions. Today, old demon Tianming has been killed by your hands. Moreover, a large number of experts from the Profound River Alliance died here. So they will not be a threat in the future, but we will appear too weak if we do not seek revenge. Therefore, I will personally lead our people to destroy them once the mess in the Star Realm has been cleaned up. None of the factions that joined the Profound River Alliance will be let off. A cold glint flashed through Yao Lao's eyes. If Xiao Yang had not exited his retreat in time, the Falling Star Pavilion would have been destroyed by the Profound River Alliance. Xiao Yang slightly nodded. His finger gently knocked on the table. A moment later, he slowly said, the Profound River Alliance is already an insignificant threat. However, with the strength of our Falling Star Pavilion, we are still unable to fight the Hall of Souls. It looks like we need to take a hint from the Profound Sky Sect and establish a truly large alliance. Alliance. Yao Lao and the rest were startled upon hearing this word. They immediately contemplated the idea. Forget about the Hun clan. Just the strength of the Hall of Souls is stronger than our Falling Star Pavilion. Our Falling Star Pavilion is completely at odds with them. It is impossible to engage in an all-out war with them. Xiao Yang nodded as he softly explained. With just the strength of our Falling Star Pavilion, we have a very high chance of being defeated when the time comes. Hence, we must seek allies if we wish to fight the Hall of Souls. This will likely not be easy. The Hall of Souls is too powerful. Who else other than us will oppose them? Cai Lin knit her brows and asked. It is precisely because the Hall of Souls is too powerful that we have a chance. Xiao Yan smiled and replied. Those fellows have done many things that have infuriated others in order to collect souls. An example is the Pill Tower. They hate the Hall of Souls to their very bones. If they were not afraid of the strength of the Hall of Souls, they would have already gathered people to fight it. The Hall of Souls loved to gather powerful souls. Those with powerful souls were mostly alchemists. An unknown number of alchemists had been attacked by the Hall of Souls during these years. The Pill Tower was aware of these attacks, but they simply had to endure them. The strength of the Hall of Souls is indeed quite strong. However, the three giant heads of the Pill Tower are only peak dozens, right? This kind of strength does not pose much of a threat to the Hall of Soul. The little fairy doctor spoke with some hesitation. This is only the outer strength of the Pill Tower. If it only had this small might, how could the Pill Tower be the holy grounds in the hearts of many alchemists? How could it stand equally with the Hall of Souls? Yao Lao suddenly shook his head and slowly questioned. He naturally boasted a deep understanding of the Pill Tower. Moreover, while Xiao Yang had spent 2 years in his retreat, that old fellow, Xian Kongzi, finally advanced to the Ban Xing class. Although he is only an initial level Ban Xing, his strength has soared. Oh? Elder Xian Kongzi has advanced to the Ban Xing class. Xiao Yang was a little surprised upon hearing this news. He mused for a moment before suddenly asking, I seem to have heard Elder Xian Kongzi mention that the three great heads of the Pill Tower had once exchanged blows with the chief of the Hall of Souls. If it was in the past when Xiao Yang did not understand the Hall of Souls, he might have believed these words. Now, he doubted this claim. Just the second Tianzuan of the Hall of Souls had reached the strength of a high-level Ban Xing. The mysterious and unfathomable chief of the Hall of Souls was likely even stronger than Ji Yu. How could Xian Kongzi and the 2 other elders deal with this kind of strength? Ha ha, that is indeed true, but they did not fight the true body of the Hall of Souls chief. Instead, it was only a part of his soul that was possessing a Hall of Souls expert. Even though he was possessing an expert's body, those 3 fellows had ended up miserably defeated. Do not mention this matter in front of the 3 of them. Otherwise, they might end up feeling embarrassed. Yao Lao involuntarily laughed as he spoke. Yao Lao looked at the little fairy doctor, and the rest after his laughter ceased. He said, an ordinary person only knows about the Pill Tower. That ordinary person would not know about the small Pill Tower inside the Pill Tower. Small Pill Tower. Upon hearing these words, the little fairy doctors group and Xiao Yang were stunned. This was the first time that they had heard about the so-called Small Pill Tower. There are not many people who can enter this Small Pill Tower. The old Xiao Yang might barely meet the requirements. Yao Lao laughed. This is because the first requirement to enter the Small Pill Tower is to be able to refine a Tier 8 medicinal pill that can summon a 7-colored pill lightning. At the same time, one spirit must have reached the soul state. 7-colored pill lightning, soul state spirit, these requirements are indeed quite harsh. Xiao Yang nodded. Before he had broken through to the Doxing class, it would have been a little difficult for him to refine a 7-colored pill lightning Tier 8 medicinal pill. Hence, his old self might not have possessed the qualification to enter the Small Pill Tower. The people inside the Small Pill Tower are the true core of the Pill Tower. Their existence is the reason why the Hall of Souls has never done anything too bad to the Pill Tower. Those demons are all extremely old people. Even I have to bow and greet some of them when I meet them. Yao Lao faintly laughed. Additionally, my old self once stayed inside the Small Pill Tower, but I was not used to the atmosphere, so I ended up leaving. The Small Pill Tower does not have any overly strict rules. It is easy to leave but difficult to enter. Xiao Yang was quietly speechless. This Pill Tower was indeed not as simple as it appeared on the surface. A faction that could be ranked alongside the Hall of Souls was indeed extraordinary. The alliance that you have proposed is indeed somewhat workable. The relationship between the Pill Tower and the Hall of Souls is far worse than you have imagined. The people in the small pill tower really dislike the Hall of Souls. Oh? Xiao Yan rejoiced slightly upon hearing this. When the small pill tower had peaked back then, the tower head once accepted a disciple. This disciple only took a short 40 years to surpass many of the elders who had many times his experience, but a subsequent accident ended up exposing his identity. No one had expected that he had been sent by the Hall of Souls. After the incident was exposed, the tower head had let him off on account of their teacher-student relationship. In the end, the tower head was killed by this utterly heartless fellow with the help of some experts from the Han clan. Yao Lao softly sighed while feeling sympathetic. Xiao Yang bitterly laughed upon hearing this story. That tower head had experienced something even more miserable than Yao Lao. Due to this matter, the Pill Tower engaged in a big war with the Hall of Souls back then, but they had no choice but to suppress this hatred due to the terrible losses that they had suffered. This hatred has not diminished with the flow of time. Instead, it has only grown. Yao Lao softly continued, hence, it is possible to form an alliance with them to fight the Hall of Souls. Xiao Yang nodded. His eyes were filled with joy. If he got the Pill Tower to form an alliance with his faction, their strength would soar. They would be able to squeeze in with the super factions on the continent. Even if the Hall of Souls wished to attack in the future, they would have to carefully weigh their options first. You should not feel happy so soon. The small Pill Tower might really hate the Hall of Souls, but it will be immensely difficult to get those stubborn old fellows to agree to an alliance. Yao Lao involuntarily poured cold water on Xiao Yang's joyous face. We will give it a try regardless of whether it will work or not. Xiao Yang smiled. He would definitely make an attempt no matter how low the chances of success were. The Falling Star Pavilion alone was really no match for the Hall of Souls. Once the matters in the Falling Star Pavilion have been settled, I will personally accompany you to the Pill Tower. Yao Lao fondled his beard. He mused for a moment before nodding. Xiao Yang smiled and inclined his head. Yao Lao boasted a much deeper relationship with those from the Pill Tower. It would be much easier if Yao Lao revealed himself. Other than the Pill Tower, we might also be able to rope in the Flower Sect and the Burning Flame Valley. They possess extremely great reputations within the Central Plains. If we get them to join the alliance, many sects that have been harmed by the Hall of Souls will join as well. The combination of these strengths will be quite frightening. Kaylin voiced her thoughts. She had experienced the formation of the Yang Alliance back then. She clearly understood the powerful strength such an alliance would bring. There are two Grand Elders who have not shown their faces for many years within the Flower Sect. The both of them possess the strength of a Ban Xing. Even ordinary Flower Sect disciples are unaware of their existences. Yao Lao faintly laughed. Those two old fellows owe me a favor. Adding on your relationship with Yun Yun, it should not be difficult to get the Flower Sect to join the alliance. Xiao Yang was very surprised when he heard that there were two Ban Xing class experts hidden within the Flower Sect. He had not sensed their existences when he had gone to the Flower Sect back then. How is it possible to not form a foundation, after having existed in the Central Plains for such a long time? An example is old demon Tian Ming from the Profound Sky Sect. Yao Lao smiled. He was extremely old and had a vast number of friends back then. Hence, he was clearly aware of the old demons hidden within the various sects. The Burning Flame Valley is also not as simple as it appears. You only need to remember that the founder of the Burning Flame Valley was once a powerful existence that was not weaker than your ancestor Xiao Yan. From what I know, the Burning Flame Valley also has an ancestor. This person also possesses a high-level Ban Xing strength. I am not certain whether that ancestor has become a Do Xing yet. Back then, he was a renowned existence. The corner of Xiao Yang's mouth twitched. At this moment, he finally understood that he had underestimated these factions, which had existed in the Central Plains for many years. How could they be simple if they were able to reach this stage? That person from the Burning Flame Valley is somewhat strange. He has not gotten involved in mundane matters for many years. It is not impossible to use some tricks to get him to join the alliance. Yao Lao smiled and said, that old fellow once suffered an extremely serious injury that resulted in a sequela, which has existed until now. If we can resolve his trouble, it would not be difficult to get the Burning Flame Valley to join the alliance. Xiao Yan slowly nodded after hearing this. Some excitement surfaced in his eyes. The factions they could form an alliance with boasted a strength that far exceeded his expectations. If they were able to form a large alliance with all of them, this alliance would undoubtedly become a super faction within the Central Plains. The matter of the alliance must be completed before the purifying demon lotus flame appears. Xiao Yan's eyes flickered. The Hall of Souls would definitely get involved in the matter related to a mysterious flame like the purifying demon lotus flame. If the Falling Star Pavilion did possess true capital, how could they fight the Hall of Souls? Just relying on Xiao Yan alone was not enough. A ferocious tiger could not defeat a pack of wolves. Xiao Yan's ancestor Xiao Xian had used his personal experience to teach Xiao Yan the validity of that statement. Hence, he needed to settle the matter of the alliance as soon as possible. This video will end here.